Welcome back to my channel. We are going back to the basics before we can go and use this for advanced tactics. And we're going to look at the anatomy of a dispute letter. Now, you can actually get access to this by going down in the description as well as in the comment section and clicking on the link to get access now. It's 100% for free, so why wouldn't you? All right, so what I mean by going back to the basics is that everybody wants to jump to all of these advanced tactics, and a lot of people don't even know why they're sending what they're sending and why they're sending it, okay? Like, what is this used for? Why is that there? What are the requirements for this? Now, when you do understand the process and you do understand what's required, not only do you appreciate it, but you're able to get better results. Okay, so let's go and look at the anatomy of a dispute letter. And this is exactly what's going to show up once you actually get to the anatomy of a dispute letter. So on the left, you can see introduction, which is the screen you're looking at, anatomy, dispute reasons, and tactic flow. Now, we're starting on this screen because I'm explaining to you what this is about, obviously. But let's just pause right here real quick. Now, if you were trying to land on a video that had the link to schedule a call with me, if you were looking for me to take over your file, now I do choose every single client for my program. And the reason is very simply, I only help people that I can actually help. So I'm not going to offer my services to you if I can't help. All right. So if you want to check that out, if you're tired of doing this yourself, if you don't want to screw it up yourself, if you don't want to deal with this, whatever it is, see if I can help. The link is on the screen. The link is in the description. The link is in the comments. All right. Very, very simple. All right. So now when we go over here to anatomy of a dispute letter, I made this as an interactive image. Yes, I'm always coming up with some really great stuff, right? Anywho, so you're going to see an example of a dispute letter, and I've included everything that's necessary on here. And if it's not on here, it means that it doesn't belong on here. Okay. So you're very simply going to click on these, what are they, plus symbols? As you can see, if I click on the person's personal information, a box is going to pull up. If I click on the date, a box is going to pull up. If I click on the bureaus, a box is going to pull up. All right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so if something is not on here, like I said, it doesn't belong. As you can see, this is a very, very, very simple letter. Now, you might be wondering why this is not a law heavy, this is my third request type of letter, I'm going to sue you, you didn't respond to me, blah, blah, blah type of deal. Now, if you've seen any of my videos, you know that, number one, I'm so anti-template for the bureaus. Like, why? Why? It's because it doesn't get the results. It doesn't get the results. And after running like thousands of split tests, I know what does and what does not get the results. And everything that I do is backed by science. It is backed by formulas. It is backed by a format. Okay. So you can do you can do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me. Okay. This is here because it works for me. What works for me works for others. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for you if you don't put the time and the effort and, studying into figure it out. So, this is just here as a tool to teach you what I know because this works for me. All right. So what we're looking at is, once again, a very simple to the point letter. If I click on this, it's going to show me that personal info should include for the bureau's name, date of birth, address, and full social. Now, if the letter is sent to the creditor, you can omit the first 6 numbers and replace them with X's. And that's for the collectors as well. Put today's date. Don't even bother backdating it. It's not going to do anything for you. Put your bureau information. I do have the addresses here. Or if it's for a creditor, you can put their name and their address. As you can see, my main body paragraph is very short and sweet. I normally don't put more than 3 sentences. And when I say main body, I'm talking about it's including why you're sending the letter. I'm writing this letter because you're reporting inaccurate information on my credit report or whatever. Optionally, where you found the information. I pulled in your report on Identity IQ yesterday. What you would like to happen please perform an independent investigation of the accounts included in this letter and send me a new credit report reflecting these changes. And optionally, why it's important that this information is reflected accurately. So this sentence that I add in, I just do it for human uniqueness, okay? You don't want for them to, or the computer to determine that the letter is being sent from a credit repair company or that it's a template. You could say something like, I have a job interview coming up and I know that they'll check my credit report as part of the process, and these inaccuracies will definitely hurt me. Now, for additional rounds after round 1, you can also include a statement regarding the previous dispute, like what they failed to do and why it's important that they reinvestigate, all right? Below that, you're going to see the creditor name, the account number, and the dispute reason. So if you click on the creditor section where you put the accounts, you're going to include no more than 10 accounts per letter. You want to include the creditor's name and the account number. You do not need to include the entire account number. So if it's like 16 digits, include 6 of them. There's probably only going to be one creditor on there that has those specific numbers. Okay. Now, if it's student loans, sometimes I will include the entire number because they're very, very, very similar. But other than that, I don't bother. For the dispute reason. Now, a lot of people get this messed up, okay? The power behind your letter is in the reason, not the paragraph, okay? The computer doesn't give a crap what's in there most of the time. And so spending 5 hours writing a 3-page letter is for absolutely nothing, specifically when your dispute reason very simply says unverified. Like, what's unverified? Why are you saying it's unverified? What about this account needs to be removed? Like, for your reason, you need to include no more than 1 dispute reason per account per letter. The dispute reason format should follow this formula for every single disputed account. The action, delete this account, correct this account for inaccuracy, the justifier, because the reason, date last active, reports 3 different dates, date, and date. And then you can format the reason however you would like. However, you do need to include all 3 elements for maximum results: the action, the justifier, and the reason. And when I say action, as you can see in this formula, it's delete it, correct it, remove it, whatever, right? And then a justifier is you're saying, hey, this, and this because this, because that, okay? Now, you're going to list all of your accounts up to a maximum of 10. However, if it's like medical, I put an unlimited number of medical on there. But normally if I have more than 10 medical, I'll stick them all on one letter. And then, the regular accounts will go on a separate letter. You have your your letter closing. You can use something that just reinforces what you'd like them to do, such as investigate, reinvestigate, send a credit report, etc. And then obviously you're just closing out the letter with your name. I will say here, do not include a signature under any circumstances. These have been known to be transposed to contracts that were not actually signed by you. Okay, this does happen. You have to realize this. They are not out for you. The Bureau's creditors and collectors are out for themselves, their own money, their own wallet, their own businesses. Okay, so yes, your signature can go onto a contract that you did not sign. The only way that you can prevent this is by not signing your letters. All right, so if we go over here on the left and go to dispute reasons, you're going to see 3 different things: round 1 reasons, round 2 through 4, and 5 and later, further, whatever word you want to stick there. So if we click on round 1 reasons, your round 1 reasons are very simple and spell out the biggest reason why the account needs to be removed. You should be choosing either a blatant inaccuracy or a reason out of the top of the pyramid, such as date last active, date last paid, payment history, etc. No matter which round you're on, it's always going to be action, justifier, and reason. Now for 2 through 4, these reasons are more targeted towards your best dispute reason going down the pyramid, right? So it's very important to remember not to use the same dispute reason twice, because that's actually like credit repair suicide besides saying not mine. If you already said unknown or not mine or date last active, you cannot use this again without utilizing the evolution line method. This must be new and relevant information taken directly from your credit report. So the natural flow of this is going to be blatant inaccuracies, date last active, date last paid, notice of dispute, payment history, and then first date of delinquency or activity after close date or payment history. And then for 5 on, you'll want to utilize the ELM, the evolution line method, to circle back on your best dispute reasons for accounts with changed information. So your other options are to target violations, investigation practices, utilize challenges, complaints, and the center of the pyramid. Now, I normally don't ever get there, and that's like balance, past due, yada, yada, unless it's part of pointing out violations like late payments and past due on a collection. So if we go over here on the left and click on tactic flow, you're going to see a little table at the top, and then understanding the chart, dispute reason examples, and that is the end of it. So let me explain this table to you, right? So we have round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are 2 dispute examples going left to right. So example 1 is date last active to date last paid to payment history to status update to first date of delinquency. Now you can do this differently. If you start with a request for investigation, you can then go to method of verification, to notice a dispute, to no investigation, to FCRA requirements. So understanding the chart, as I already went over this part, we're going to skip that and we're going to look at dispute examples for each of those. And as I mentioned, you can go access this entire thing yourself for free using the link in the description. So for date last active, it would be remove this account for inaccuracy because the date last active reports date, date, and date. For date last paid, remove this account for inaccuracy because the date last paid reports date, date, and date. For payment history, this account needs to be removed because the payment history reflects multiple late payment dates inconsistently between the 3 bureaus for date and date. For status update, this account was not investigated because the status update date was not changed even though you verified as accurate. Now, let's just pause there real quick. Why is that? Well, when they verify it as accurate, and yes, I'm using air quotes here, what happens is that they're supposed to update that date last reported, status update date to be that current date that they obviously verified as accurate. So if they did that, that means that they actually did an investigation. So if they verified it as accurate, but they don't change the date, then that means that they're just saying it's accurate without having investigated, right? You get what I'm saying with that? So for first date of delinquency, you're very simply going to state the first date of delinquency of date is wrong, and this is inaccurate. Remove it from my credit report. Request for investigation. This account is reported inaccurately, and I'm requesting an investigation for deletion because the X is wrong. Now, furthermore, I also have method of verification, notice a dispute, no investigation, and FCRA requirements. However, I'm going to leave this completely up to you to go through this instead of reading the rest of them to you. They are pretty straightforward, to the point, and that is basically the end of this video. That is the anatomy of a dispute letter and the requirements. Now, please do not leave out any part of this because it's going to change your ability to obtain results. If you don't send your identification, your letter is going to be rejected. If you don't put the information in the letter, it's going to be rejected. If you don't tell them what you're disputing and why you're disputing it, it's going to be rejected. If you don't, whatever, it's going to be rejected. So that's why it's so important that we go over the anatomy of a dispute letter, because every single element on it is there for a reason. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, just let me know. That is it for today. I have some videos for you tomorrow. And yeah, I hope you have a great one. And like I said at the beginning, if you need my help, just use the link and schedule a call, and I will see if I can help. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and take care, stay safe, and wear a mask. Bye, guys.